wait for the PowerPoint to come up. The inner code. What is it? Well, quite simply, the inner code is what drives us in our darkest of times. It is what keeps us going when the going gets tough. But before I begin my actual talk, I just want to ask a quick question. How many of you have ever been faced with a change which you found difficult or complex and one which you struggled to cope with? Yeah, just like I thought, a lot of the room. Well, my name's Yusuf, and today I'm here to tell you a secret about change. Change is exaggerated. Change is just a facade that we've been using for as long as we can remember to justify our fears. And most of all, change is natural. We make such a big deal about it, but whether we like it or not, it will happen. Constantly, all through our lives, every second of every day, we are constantly changing. And we might not recognize it, and it might not be to do with us as individuals. Perhaps it's with the environment around us. Who knows? A change in hairstyles, a change in heart rate, or even just a change in bed sheets. It doesn't matter because we adapt. We conquer because that's what we do. That's what we've always done. We overcome. But me standing up here and just saying this all to you would make me seem a bit foolish because let's be honest, it's no walk in the park. For some people, it is the hardest thing that they will do in their whole lives. And that's down to the fact that humans, whether we like to admit it or not, are creatures of habit. We enjoy set routines and we like following a certain style of life. And I know that's true for a fact. But biologically, if you think about it, we're very well adapted to change. So that suggests that any hesitations we do have, they're more of an emotional thing rather than a physical one. Since the days of the caveman, we've been constantly adapting, getting better. The discovery of fire, the telephone, internet, electricity as a whole. If these things didn't exist, imagine where we'd be as a species. If those brave individuals didn't stand up and take change and welcome it, where would we be? So imagine if we could all do that, if we could all welcome change and just give it a hug. I honestly think we could achieve wonders. So I've been talking about dealing with change, but how exactly does one do it? Well, here's the thing. Let me introduce to you DREC. Now, DREC stands for denial, resistance, exploration. Well, that's not down to me. And commitment. Now, when you understand this model, it allows you to recognize the changes which you need to make. But not just that, it also puts you at an advantage because you are able to affect the change in your own life, but also in the lives of those who you're closest to, your family, your friends, your loved ones. It's a logical step-by-step guide. So I'm just going to run through what sort of things each of them are. Denial. No, I don't have a problem. I'm fine. Resistance. Okay, so I've got a problem. So what? It's beyond me. There's nothing I can do. Exploration. All right, I've got a problem. Let's see what I can work with in order to get through this. And commitment, the final one, is where you finally decide what it is that you want to do and how you're going to get there. Secondly, I want to draw your attention to this Dreck curve. Now, the x-axis is representative of time, and the y-axis shows emotional energy. So you can see from this graph that the time after the resistance period, emotional energy is constantly rising. We're just going to go through a bit more detail about the graph. The denial and resistance phase. This is where the individual struggles the most. And this is usually because that they lack the responsibility and they don't like to take the blame for anything which they've done. Exploration is where the individual begins to carry out research to see how they can help themselves. And commitment is then when they decide on what to do, how to get there, and what essential steps that they need to take. And that is the simplistic beauty of it. It can be applied to any situation in any context. Whether it's a bad exam grade or a financial difficulty, and even at the time when you lose a loved one. It's a rational process which keeps your emotions intact and keeps you under control so that you can manage your change effectively. So I urge you to remember this model because it will work wonders throughout your life, and I know that for a fact. I believe it with all of my life that it can benefit society too. Change isn't scary unless you want it to be. Like I've said throughout, DREC will help you to navigate through your life, and it will help you to go in the right direction. And this inner code that I've been talking about, well, it's what makes each of us unique. It's what makes each of us us. So if you remember anything, remember that change is natural, change is constant, and change is inevitable. We have to deal with it in the best way that we can. Like I said, humans have undergone and adapted to change since the very first day of our existence as a species. And we have grown together. We have grown together, adapted together, and proven time and time again that change does not mean it is the end. Change is simply the beginning of another chapter. Thank you.